Live from Naples, this is the Morning Break with Jane Ritter.
Morning, everyone. Lovely to be back on the air, and I'm looking forward to my guest this morning, Fergal Kavanagh. A gorgeous sunny day in Naples. I hope it stays that way. Things have been pretty unpredictable of late. This morning, we'll be talking about music in the classroom.
Live from Naples, this is the Morning Break with Jane Ritter on Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live at ttradio.org, or to join in the conversation, download the Podbean app and search Teachers Talk Radio. Follow the hashtag TTRadio. Tune in, talk it out with Teachers Talk Radio.
And a very good morning again to everyone who's joined. Today is International World Piano Day, 29th of March, which is quite a coincidence. Today we will be talking about music. We won't be talking specifically about pianos, but it is, a nice little coincidence. It's also World Mermaid Day, which is perhaps another coincidence because I live in the land of mermaids down here in Naples, and my guest is also from Naples. So it doesn't happen often that I have people from my own city, but it will be an absolute delight to have him join when he joins. For the moment, I'm just going to check and see. If you are listening, just send me a message. Let me know that you're there. If you have any questions for Fergal, do let me know. Okay, I think I can see him coming. Here we go. And good morning, Fergal. How are you today?
Hello, Jane. How lovely to be here with you today.
Nice to have you too. How's the weather? Well, we're actually this is quite an unusual event that I've actually got a guest from Naples, so you can tell our listeners what the weather's like today.
Well, it's springtime in Naples. We have the usual mad, crazy March weather. It's bits of rain, and then the sun is out. And right now the sun is out, and it's lovely. I have it streaming through my window here.
Good. Yeah. I think this is one of the reasons why we live here.
Oh yes.
You've been here a while, haven't you?
I moved to Naples in 1996, so that's 27 years ago now.
My goodness.
I don't want to think about that. That's a lifetime.
I think I came roughly the same time. Yeah,
I remember meeting you very, very early on. So I think you might actually have been here before me, a year or two, maybe.
I'm just okay. I remember where we met. I was at work, and you came in to do a workshop for teachers. I think.
What do you remember what it was about?
No, I can't remember what it was about because I wasn't actually in it. But you were working with, I think, with Macmillan. Is that right?
That's right. At the time, it was called Heinemann, and it was then bought out by Macmillan, I believe, in the year 2000. So I spent 4 years working for Heinemann, and then a further 2 years working for Macmillan until the bottom fell out.
Oh.
Well, you actually might remember that because we were at the British Council conference was it in the Royal Continental Hotel, and I was giving a presentation, and that very day the news came through that that they were reducing their staff and they were closing the Italy office, and we were all out basically. And I remember sharing that news live with lots of colleagues, and I think you were one of them actually that day.
I would have been there, definitely. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
No, happy memories, Jane. Happy memories.
Sorry to start with that. No, I mean, you have had a very, very interesting teaching journey. I wonder if you could tell our listeners a little bit about that, where it started.
I kind of fell into teaching, as many of us mother tongue people do. I took a teaching certificate so as I would be able to travel. So in 1992, when I graduated from college in Cork, from University College Cork, I did the TEFL course, their first TEFL course, in fact, the RSA course, and then immediately moved to Florence here in Italy, where I had a friend. So it seemed like a good place to start. And I worked for 2 language schools in the Florence area. And that lasted, I only stayed there about 6 months, maybe even less. And then subsequently, I moved to Greece, and I was teaching in the International House School in Patras.
Wow.
And then International House were looking for people to do a summer camp in Campitello Matese in Molise. So I came back to Italy to do that, and stopped by Milan, where my friend who was in Florence had moved to. And I decided I liked Milan, and I was going to stay and look for a job teaching. So I was teaching there, not in private language schools, but in companies, doing lessons after work. Basically, I would begin about 5 in the afternoon and work through to 9 or even 10 at night. They have a long working session in Milan. They don't mind doing,
they don't stop work.
Lessons until 10 o'clock at night. I mind it, but so then after that, I kind of got tired of that routine. You know, I mean, it was very much working alone in companies. I was working for an agency, and they sent me to these companies in the sticks in Milan, basically. So I thought I'd like to move on, but what to do? So I wrote to the big 4 publishers. Let's call them the big 4. Let's see. There was Oxford, Cambridge, Longman, and of course Heinemann. And in fairness to Oxford, the manager, Kieran Logan, who you probably know, he called me up and he said, "We don't actually have any opportunities, but this is what you should do. Keep your eye on this." He gave me a big pep talk about the whole publishing world, which was very, very kind, but he didn't give me a job. And then some months later, I was called up by Nick Broom, who is the manager for Heinemann. And he said, we'd like to see you for an interview. So I did the interview, and afterwards he said, "Well, we have good news and bad news. The good news is we are going to give you the job. The bad news is it's in Naples." And I said,
"That's not bad news."
That to me is great news. I said, I'm really excited about going to Naples. But you see, Jane, at the time, I mean, you remember when we moved here, Naples was considered the far west. It wasn't the really appealing place that it is now. It was appealing to you and me, but there were no tourists around at all. So, I mean, I'm Irish, so I have a slightly different attitude to the English. So my English boss saying, the bad news is Naples. The Irish man was saying, "No, mate, that's good news."
Definitely.
So continuing with the journey, after I was let go, I collaborated with another publisher, with Ellie, but I had to find a proper job, a real job again. And I started working with the British Council, where we worked together for a while.
Yep.
And I also got a job in the Orientale, the university, where I taught for 5 years. So I was doing a lot of PON courses as well in the afternoons. So I was working in state schools. So I had a lot of teaching experience there. And I was using songs in my lessons because at the time I was also what they call in Italy a speaker for a radio program. Not quite like the radio program that you have now. It was a commercial radio. We were playing the hits. So with the music that I was playing on the radio at night and the lessons I was doing in the morning, it seemed quite obvious to combine them. And that's basically where Tune Into English came from, which is what I have been doing for the last 17 years now.
My goodness, is it that long?
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean,
that's amazing. It just seems like yesterday. Yeah.
Indeed. It was an experiment at the beginning, and it turned into, well, it became bigger than I ever expected it would be. I thought maybe I'd do a couple of shows a month. But it became a career. I had to leave all the other impeño, all the other jobs that I had, and I started to tour it. And I haven't looked back. I love it. It's great fun.
Okay, so for the listeners that don't know what Tune Into English is, what is it?
Well, Tune Into English is, as the title suggests, tuning into English. So you tune into a radio station and you listen to the music on the radio station. So to tune into something is to focus on something. Mm-hmm. Tuning into English through songs, the tunes, the melodies, means looking at the lyrics and studying how they are formed, the grammar that is in them, the vocabulary that is in them, and using them as a model to help students to learn English. Mm-hmm. So I remember one song, for example, that I used before Tune Into English happened while I was teaching was an Anastasia song called Left Outside Alone. And it starts with, all my life I've been waiting. And, you know, this kind of earworm, I kept going around my head. I was thinking, you know, that is a fantastic example of the present perfect continuous, something that students often have a problem with. So when I was teaching the present perfect continuous, I said, look, anytime you have a problem remembering the form, just sing to yourself, all my life I've been waiting. So for me, songs provide a model as well of a grammar format that students can easily remember.
And in sort of the correct sort of stress, pronunciation, it's nicely chunked together for them so they can actually, learn it. Sorry.
Yeah, there are sometimes, I'll let you drink some water there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
There are sometimes some issues with pronunciation. I mean, I was thinking the Cranberries' Zombie, she sings, it's not me, it's not my family. Now, we don't say family, we say family. But I think if students are aware of that, it actually reinforces the pronunciation for them. They hear that and they say, oh, look, the Cranberries are mispronouncing that. It's not family, it's family. So there are some mispronunciations, which there are not many of them, but when they do occur, it's a really good way of reinforcing the correct version.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what happens on a roadshow?
A roadshow basically is where I play the hits, the current successful songs that students like listening to at the moment. I mean, I go around state schools, both primary and superiore, primary and high schools in the Italian market, the media and the superiore also, and play the songs for them. We do activities based on those songs, listening for vocabulary, listening for rhyming words, and again, the grammar forms, pronunciation exercises. So it's a show because I have 100 or more students there. We're singing together. We're creating a very, very positive atmosphere, which again reinforces the value of the language for the kids. And then we end it all with a dance, which has total physical response activities. Mm-hmm. So they leave on a high and they love it. Well, most of them love it. I mean, obviously, you can't keep everyone happy. Those fans of heavy metal aren't going to enjoy singing Harry Styles songs, but the aim is that then they go and listen to their heavy metal songs, look at the lyrics and take something from that as well.
Okay. You also do quite a lot to support teachers. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the whole project started as a website, actually, not actually as a touring show. The touring show came later. So the website, www.tuneintoenglish.com, the idea was to share worksheets, downloadable worksheets that teachers can use in class with their students. So I am about to publish the 400th worksheet. Each one of those has been individually curated, and most of them, this is the great thing, most of them are written by teachers who they send it in to me, and then I edit it, format it for the Tune Into English format, and I publish it. And the idea initially, as has turned out, was that teachers would share their work on songs, worksheets that I would then publish, and hopefully people around the world will be able to download them and use them.
That sounds so it's like a little song library, basically.
That's right. And also there are over 15,000 karaoke songs. Now the karaoke songs, they're actually lyric videos. So they're taken from YouTube. They're embedded from YouTube. So it is a library of karaoke songs or lyric videos there. I like to think that everything you want is on it, but again, you can't put everything. I mean, there might be a Taylor Swift song, a Taylor Swift fan out there who wants the third song on her debut album, which very, very few people know. You might not find that on my site, but send me an email and I'll add it.
All right. So you're also a jukebox as well.
That's it.
make your requests. Okay. So when you are actually teaching, what tools do you use? Do you have programs, realia, objects? What are your sort of top tools for teaching?
Well, because I'm doing the show, obviously my top tool is they are songs. Using songs in the classroom. Now, realia, again, a song is realia, isn't it? Yeah. So I have the lyrics projected up on the screen, and they're singing along to it. Sometimes, if I can, I bring. For example, I was doing a Michael Jackson activity some years ago, and for that, I always wore the sparkling glove. So, and when I do the primary show as well, I bring flashcards of a bus, and I have a monkey and a banana that I bring along as well. So where possible, yes, there is realia, but the most important thing where the show is concerned are the songs with the lyrics and the kids singing along, of course.
Okay. Do they have worksheets, or is it sort of more focused on them with the screen and interacting with you? It's
pretty much the screen interacting with me. Because it's a show, I can't give out worksheets. If I were to give at the very beginning, I used to have a quiz where I would give out a worksheet and put them into groups, and then we would I would take back the sheets and correct them. It just became too messy in the classroom management. Like when you're doing a show with 100 or 130 kids, or the biggest show I've done is 500, there's no way you can do that. So basically it's them and the screen, and then with the microphone, if anybody wants to sing, there's the possibility to do that as well. So they're fully involved in the show.
You just said that you can manage 500 kids. How do you do that?
It's the music, it's the songs. I mean, you've been to a stadium gig. Okay, 500 people isn't a stadium, but no. you know the way that if everybody knows the song, the singer has the audience in the palm of their hands. Now, it's not me who has the audience in the palm of my hands. It's Harry Styles or Taylor Swift or the Black Eyed Peas, because they're listening to that song and they're singing along, so they are fully involved. So that's it. It's an experience that unifies them, basically.
Okay. How many songs would you do on a show?
Well, the show lasts between 90 minutes and 2 hours, and
that must be exhausting.
It is, and my record is I've done 5 of them in one day. I did 3 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and one in the evening. But I don't want to do that again. I usually do between 1 and 3 a day when I do them. So how many songs? It depends on the year, basically, and how long the activities and the points that I'm trying to demonstrate. I mean, some songs I will only play a 30-second snippet. Other songs I'll play the full song. I'll play the bit that I want them to work on the first verse, for example, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then the whole song where we sing it together. So, I mean, that would be maybe 7 minutes on the same song. I guess there's between 40 and 50 songs in every show.
Oh, my goodness. That is a lot of preparation, Fergal. Goodness me.
It is. I enjoy preparing it too. And I find I do a pilot show every year. And I find that after the pilot show, I have to rewrite so much of it because in my mind, I've been listening to commercial radio or whatever, and I've written a show that I think, yeah, this is going to be a killer. And I play the songs for the kids, and they're like, well, yeah, whatever. And maybe there's something that lasts only 30 seconds, and it really gets them. So I have to make it longer, make that one go 3 minutes or go 5 minutes.
So how you do a test to see what songs are going to work?
Yes, yeah. I mean, for example, there was a great song last summer by Elton John and Dua Lipa. It was called Cold, Cold Heart. And I think it's a fantastic song. And I thought they were going to love it. No, they're like, yeah, go home. Give us some more Harry Styles.
It is strange because Dua Lipa is really, really popular, isn't she?
Yeah, and it's a great song too, a great version of that song. Yeah,
I wonder if it's Elton John. Who knows?
No, it could be. I was thinking, like, how strange is this in 2022, 2023? I'm playing Elton John to school kids. I would never have thought that. But and in fact, it flopped.
Is there anything from the past that you do use successfully with learners?
Queen is huge. Anytime I play even a tiny little bit of Bohemian Rhapsody, they're all singing. Another, well, that's also because of the movie, but another one that is evergreen in the sense that it has never gone away is I Will Survive, which is fantastic for used to as well. Another song which is, you can't fail with it, is YMCA.
Yes, yeah, so, you can though, because in Italy they do the shapes of the letters differently.
Well, here in Italy, they just wave their hands in the air. It's YMCA. Whereas
it's not. It's the letters YMCA.
Exactly. That's it. So what I do in the primary show is I get them to line up in the wrong order. So I get them to make the letters for Macy, M-A-C-Y.
Okay.
What's Macy? We don't know. It's a huge department store in New York City. But I don't want to talk about Macy. Now, let's see if we can move these letters around. Okay, Giovanni, can you where do you think we should put Giovanni? Giovanni, the Y at the end. Can you go to the start? So now we have Y-M-A-C. Something not quite right. And so, immediately then they get YMCA and they do the letters and they dance it as it should be danced. I
think. Thank goodness there's someone rectifying that problem. Yeah. I'm like, what are you guys doing with your hands? It's all the wrong way round.
Indeed. But it's easy. It's fun to do that as well. And on a dance floor, just wave your hands around. But I'm not on the dance floor. I'm doing a spettacolo lezione, a show lesson. So we'll do the letters.
Oh dear. You also do quite a lot of work supporting teachers. Do you want to just tell our listeners a little bit about that?
I have a lot of worksheets on the website, which teachers, most of them are written by teachers. I do some teacher training as well. I was in Sicily last week and one of the teachers asked me if I could return to do some teacher training for them. I'll be doing a conference here now in the next few weeks. I'm waiting for confirmation on the details, so I won't mention it just yet. But yes, I mean, when possible, I do presentations for teachers. And I say when possible because it's always possible, but I don't have the energy to organize it myself. What I mean by that is in the past, I have tried to organize things by myself. They've worked to a certain degree. So I got tired of pushing. So if I'm invited somewhere, I go in a flash. But to actually make it happen is more difficult for me. The website, however, is full of worksheets now. As I said, we'll be publishing the 400th worksheet in June, I believe. So it's all go.
Okay. You said you work mainly in Italy, but I believe I've seen you traveling not just in Italy with your roadshow. Where have you been?
Well, it has actually been presented in 10 different countries, Jane.
Really?
Yes.
Where?
In 3 different continents, on
No
3 different
way.
continents. Yes. Well, let's see. Italy obviously is my base.
Yep.
I also go quite often, before COVID hit, I would go to Spain every year. I was due to go back this year, but we had some scheduling difficulties. So hopefully that will happen again next year. Let's see. I did something in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. Actually, I shouldn't talk about that because well, I wasn't paid for it, so I suppose officially I wasn't working. But you know, with the whole work visa thing.
Okay. I don't think you're going to be listening for that.
No, my brother lives in Los Angeles, so he was working with the language school in Beverly Hills. And while I was visiting, he arranged for me to do a show there with the foreign students.
Wonderful.
So that was a great experience.
That's amazing. Yeah. Is he still in Beverly Hills?
He's in Pasadena now, which is just down the road. He's in Los Angeles. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
And he's a filmmaker. In fact, he makes movies out there. So he's also a songwriter, and last year he had 5 songs on the long list for the best song in a movie for the Oscars. But he didn't make the short list. But as he says himself, neither did Taylor Swift. So that's fine.
That's extraordinary. What a talented family. I mean, you've got another brother in Melbourne, or is this the same?
That's the same guy. That's the same guy. He moved from Melbourne to Los Angeles. Yeah. There you go. So you of course, you're from Melbourne, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Colleague.
Listen, Fergal, we're just going to take a quick break for the news, and we will continue this sort of adventure in Fergal's life. Fascinating stuff. Okay. For our listeners, we'll be right back in just a minute with Fergal Kavanagh.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, a leading publisher of books, directories, educational guides and magazines specifically aimed at forward-thinking schools in the UK and beyond. Have you checked out their latest releases? Don't miss out! Visit johncattbookshop.com to explore their full range of titles and advance your own professional development today. Happy reading!
Live from Naples, this is the Morning Break with Jane Ritter.
Wow, and welcome back, Fergal. I think when we left on our break, you were talking me through 10 countries, but we've only got to 3.
Right. Okay. You're putting me under pressure here. Okay. Well, there's obviously Ireland. For a number of years, I did a mini tour of the summer schools there. Then I did a similar thing in Scotland. So that brings us up to 5. I had a plenary session at the British Council conference in Jordan.
Wow.
So that wasn't a show per se, but I'm counting it as one.
Definitely.
And I had a presentation in Germany. Dear me, it's getting confusing now. I had something in Wales at the IATEFL in Cardiff. Now, again, you can pull me up on the fact that that was a presentation rather than a show, but I'm counting it as a show.
Because you got everyone up and moving around.
Indeed. So,
Wonderful.
I mean, that number 10 now, if you want to be really picky, you can say, but Scotland, Wales and England are not 3 different countries, but they are. And Northern Ireland, I also counted. I have a show called Tune Into Italian as well, where I present the Italian language. So I presented that in a few schools in Northern Ireland as well as in Ireland.
And would you use like current Italian pop songs?
Not really. No, those would be the evergreen Italian songs.
Okay.
Yeah, things like I really like that one. Vengo anch'io, not to know.
Okay.
How come you not?
Mhm.
And there's that great one by Battisti, Il tempo di morire. Well, I mean, we're talking here to a section of teachers who are not necessarily in
Italy.
in
No.
Italy. So,
But it's
and of course,
fantastic.
O Sole Mio. You all
O
know O
Sole
Sole
Mio.
Mio. And
Well-
Volare.
And do you do the little comparison with O Sole Mio and Elvis?
I don't, but what I do, Jane, is I do the comparison with the song Just One Cornetto. Do you know Just One Cornetto?
I don't know Just One Cornetto.
Ah, you see, you come
Those
from
who don't
Australia.
speak it, those who don't speak Italian, cornetto croissant.
No.
No.
If you grew up in Ireland or the UK in the 1980s, I guess the early 80s, you would definitely know this. It was an ad for ice cream.
Ice cream. Okay.
And the Cornetto ice cream.
Mhm.
And gosh, I learned to play this on the ukulele, so it's a pity that I didn't rehearse it before. I wouldn't try it now just off the cuff. But it goes, just one cornetto, give it to me. Delicious ice cream from Italy, deluxe and chocolate cream. Give me cornetto, the best ice cream.
Sounds fabulous.
So yes, I play that video as well. I've done that in the Italian show as well, and the kids love that because what they're saying is one of their most famous songs, the Italian, one of the most famous Italian songs, been taken and adapted to the Irish or the UK culture. Mm-hmm. So that works very well in the show, and then we sing O Sole Mio as well because I think it's important. I'm out there demonstrating our culture, the American culture, the UK culture, songs in English. But I think there's a case, now this is a whole separate conversation, but I think there's a case to be made that we cannot expect students to understand a foreign culture until first they understand their own culture. Mm-hmm. So if we have a mini sing-song of O Sole Mio in Italian, that's only a good thing, you know?
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's a lot more research nowadays on certainly multilingualism and translanguaging and using, I mean, as you know, when you and I started out our teaching careers, we were told not to use the students' first language in the classroom and that we should only speak to them in English. I think that is slowly being turned on its head.
Yeah, I think it's excessive. I mean, there's a lot to be said for being immersed in the language. When you go to a foreign country, if you don't speak the language, that's how you're going to learn it. But realistically, if you are in the situation where you are learning it academically, you need to be able to compare it to your own language.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, although nowadays we tend not to have just monolingual classrooms. I'm not sure how long it's been since you've been in an Italian classroom, because you've got Sri Lankans, you've got quite a mix there of learners, and I think it's really important to recognize everyone's language, really. Yes, absolutely. And they can learn so much from each other. But yeah, you're right. That is a whole nother road show. That's a whole nother radio program. So the best place you visited might not necessarily be for work, but just in general.
Oh dear, that's a tricky one. Well, let's talk about work. I love working in the south of Italy. I love working all over Italy. I love working anywhere because the roadshow is great fun. But I find in the south of Italy, the students are happier to receive someone from outside. Like there are a lot of things happening in the big cities like Milan in the north or Rome, of course, and in Naples a little bit further south. But when you go down to the deep south, like Calabria or Sicily, there are a lot less foreigners traveling there and going to schools. So I found I've had amazing receptions down in Sicily, and on the very other side of the country, the full length of the country up north, Friuli as well. Friuli, they're very, very open and welcoming to the show as well. So those are just some places, but I've had great shows even in the center of Milan as well. It's not a hard, fast rule, but there is the case that in the big cities, they are less excited to see something innovative like this because they've had something similar in the past. And on a personal level, gosh, that's a tricky one. I was talking to a friend of mine in Japan this morning. The cherry blossoms are coming out right now, and he sent me a few photos. And I went over there about 4 or 5 years ago during cherry blossom season, and that was so beautiful. I also this year I went to the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. I just disappeared for a week. I didn't tell anyone, so you know, I'm kind of revealing something to you here now. I spent the Carnival week in New Orleans, and that was amazing. They know how to party. I mean, New Orleans is, I believe, the biggest carnival in the Northern Hemisphere, second only to Rio de Janeiro.
And amazing food.
Amazing food as well. Very heavy. They like their Cajun fried food.
Oh yeah, but isn't it just extraordinary? I still have really fond memories as a kid traveling to New Orleans with my grandparents. But the food was something else. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Spectacular.
Okay. Who are the people who inspire and influence you?
Inspire and influence. Okay. Well, because I do shows, we spoke earlier about how a performer can have people in the palm of their hands. So I would say anyone who can get up on a stage and keep the audience's attention. I mean, I'll go from, I don't know, all over the spectrum there. We can take Mick Jagger, or we can take Harry Styles, you know. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm more of a fan than Mick Jagger than I am of Harry Styles, although I do like Harry Styles.
I love Harry Styles. He's such a sweetheart. I remember they have during COVID, they had those little desktop concerts. Mini concerts, and that he's just so sweet. Yeah, I am a fan. He's a sweet guy.
Yeah, he's excellent.
Nice.
Excellent. Yeah. So I think any performer who can keep people on their side for the length of, how long is a show? 2 hours. You know, they're an inspiration. That's talking performance wise. Now, I guess you want me to talk didactically as well. I remember. I went to a presentation by Caroline Graham. She wrote a book called Jazz Chants.
Jazz Chants, yeah.
I think it was published by Oxford University Press. I'm not sure, but it's.
I'm trying to think. I'm wondering if that was a Delta Publishing book. Could it?
Anyway, Jazz Chants. However, she presented quite a few of the chants in the book, and I just loved the way that she was able to put rhythm into these words and express them in a way that students could understand, and then students would repeat. We were the students in the presentation that I was at, and you know, I came away from there thinking, wow, you know, music really does work to teach. And another thing, when I was setting up the website with the downloadable worksheets, prior to that, I had been working for the publisher Heinemann. And they published a book around the same time that I started working for them, I guess 1996, called Heinemann Hits. And it was basically 10 photocopiable songs with the cassette, the old tape. And they had the originals of the songs on the tapes, and they had the teacher's instructions and stuff. And I thought, you know, what a great way to present a lesson. So I would say that publication was also an inspiration.
And set you on the course to producing 400 of your own.
That's right. With a lot of help from teachers. All 400 are not mine.
No, that's I think that's really great. It's also really sensible because, you know, we might think, like you were saying before, when you're testing out stuff, if it's coming from the teachers who are in the class with the students, you know, they're going to know what they're what works, what doesn't. Have you ever thought about getting students to join in as well? Have like a collaborative student sharing?
That students would write the worksheets, or interesting. I haven't really. I've never thought of peer-to-peer teaching really. I'm going to have to think about that one. There is no reason why it couldn't happen with, dare I say, some guidance from a teacher. Well, to get help from an adult. Do not try this at home without an adult present. That's something to think about. I've been the subject of a few university theses, and those are students analyzing how songs can help teach the language, but that's far more academic than the worksheets that we're talking about at the moment. I wonder that could actually work as an activity, Jane. I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, no, so I used to do it with my teens. It was interesting homework for them, and every week someone would prepare a little worksheet. We talked about the kind of activities that you could do, words jumbled up, or gap fills, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Well, they would make it and do it in class. They send it to me, and I'd print it off, and we'd do their song in class. It's cool.
That's fantastic. That's really good.
Yeah.
I did that in the University of Huelva. I did a teacher training session, and that was one of the activities. Like, I was demonstrating how they could write a worksheet, and then the activity was, of course, to produce a worksheet, and I published the best of them on my site. Again, slightly different, because these were students who were training to become teachers, not language learners.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are some things to think about there. Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. You can have a student of the month.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe with your students we could set that one up.
Think about it. Yeah. Okay. So, what does the future hold for Fergal Kavanagh? What's your life goal?
My life goal? Well, I kind of like where I am now, actually. So, but you can't sit in your laurels. I mean, there's a way of thinking that happiness does not exist, because as soon as you find happiness, you no longer have anything to aim for. So what have you got to live for? I mean, it's contradictory, but I understand that, you are never truly happy because there is always something else you want to achieve. If you arrive at the state of happiness, then you have nothing left to achieve, and you fester. So what does the future hold? I hope it will keep going the way it is at the moment. Now, I was doing very, very well. I was having a great time. I was the show was growing beyond my control up until the beginning of 2020. And then the rug was completely pulled from under my feet. So I had a difficult couple of years talking about the show. I mean, I used the time to do other things, of course. But I've found that we haven't quite returned to 2020 or pre-2020 levels just yet. So my goal, or rather my hope anyway, is to be able to return to that level next year.
Yeah, no, it's still taking a little longer to kick off, but I also think certainly for getting funding and things like that, there was sort of stuff that was suspended and stuff that still needed to be worked through. So yeah, it's taking a while, but I'm kind of finding now, like at uni in particular, I've got students in the class and the classrooms are full, and that's an amazing feeling. That's just like, haven't had that for, I mean, last year we were kind of hybrid, and this year it's getting there. Yeah,
everyone is delighted to be back.
Yeah. And it's so much nicer for us to have,
of course,
real people. Yeah,
this talking to each other on Zoom, that was tough. It was fun at the beginning, so, we could talk to each other, but after, I don't know, the 8th or 9th Zoom meeting. You're like, hold on, can we not just meet for a coffee? Actually, no, we can't.
Yeah, well, at least you're not meeting on Teams. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Teams is awful.
Oh dear. Okay.
Oh dear. Okay, tell us something fun about you that most people don't know.
Aha. Well, there's a reason most people don't know now, Jay. Right.
Okay, you don't have to tell us.
No, here's something kind of interesting, or maybe not interesting, but something fun, certainly. A couple of years ago, I started to learn the ukulele. I was walking past the shop and saw the ukulele on sale, and I thought, yeah, why not? So I learned it to not necessarily a huge degree of success, but I do like to play the ukulele. And here's the thing not many people know. About 3 years ago, I released a CD of my music. So,
no.
But I use a pseudonym because
is it playing
I don't,
you playing the ukulele?
There are some tracks with me playing the ukulele, but I wouldn't be the greatest musician now. So while I'm a huge fan, I think the musicianship is often best, not always, but often best left to others. So it's mostly collaborations with friends who are a little bit more talented than me. And yeah, so I just put these songs together, and I made my own CD on Amazon. So I self-published it. Yep. So it was out there for a couple of years, and then Amazon discontinued their CD producing line. They said everything is streaming now. So the CD is no longer available, which is probably a good thing.
Oh, true. As you haven't thought to put it on an online platform, or
it's all there. It's all on YouTube. But the thing is, the reason I use the pseudonym is because I think Tuning to English and Fergal Kavanagh are obviously one and the same thing. And the songs that I do, some of them are pretty damn good. Some of them are not so good, but they have nothing to do with English language teaching. So I just thought I need to keep this separate.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't shared that too much. And I'm not going to tell you my
your pseudonym,
but I will say that one of the worksheets on Tune Into English is based on one of my songs. So if anyone wants to go through the list of worksheets and find a song by someone who sounds a lot like me, that is me.
Well, that is, yeah. Well, there you go. The curious fans out there will probably be doing that after this show.
I apologize in advance.
Wonderful. Dearie me. Okay. Do you have a favorite film?
A favorite film? Gosh, at my age, it's really tough to have a favorite film because there are so many movies out there. There's so many great movies out there. Off the top of my head, I'm going to have to go with the Blues Brothers. Because I mean, what is the Blues Brothers? It's an adventure story. It's full of music. It's full of amazing music.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's got car chases. It's got a mission. What is it? We're on a mission from God. Yeah. No, I think it's actually got to be the Blues Brothers if you pin me down.
Okay. Got you on that one. If you were a vegetable.
If I was a vegetable,
what would you be?
There's only one answer to that, and it's a carrot.
Oh, I'm sure you're going to say a potato, but yeah.
You can't say that kind of thing to me.
I can.
You can get into trouble for saying that kind of thing to an Irishman. Right, get that Twitter feed now. You're off the air.
I'm off the air. No, I mean that was one of the amazing things. People are always complaining that when you go to Ireland, it's like what have you got with your steak? You have chips and then baked potatoes. It's like, oh really? And I'm like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. We do the best potatoes in the world.
Yeah, no, I was very happy with that. Mashed potatoes and chips.
Lovely. I'm starting to get hungry now, and I only had lunch a few hours ago.
Tell us why you'd be a carrot.
I'd be a carrot because when I left university, between actually traveling to Italy and the TEFL course. So first I did the TEFL course. I did a media production course, and I had to make a movie or a documentary. Mm-hmm. And I had a group of friends called who were in a band called Radio Carrot. Mm-hmm. So I made a documentary on the band Radio Carrot, and the interviews were done with the carrot, and so it was a bit ridiculous. So when I think of vegetables and music, I think of carrots.
Amazing connection. I would know.
I think that documentary might be online somewhere as well, but it might not, because I think the drummer said, that was great fun, but you're never going to publish that, are you?
So it would be under another pseudonym.
That's right. Google Radio Carrot.
I think we'll have to. Okay. If you were a song.
If I was a song, gosh.
Or,
you're putting me on the spot there.
Or would you need to be a full playlist, Fergal?
I think I'd have to be a playlist. Gosh, let's
what
throw
would be
in
on it?
All You Need Is Love. Mm-hmm. All you need is love, positive energy. There's nothing you can say that can't be sung. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can say, but it would. How does it go? I've forgotten. No, sometimes you see that's it. I am that song because sometimes I forget myself. Mm-hmm. It's easy. All you need is love. And maybe a bit of I'm sick to death of the song, but maybe a bit of Pharrell Williams, because I'm happy, because I am generally a pretty
you
happy
are generally
person.
A pretty happy person, aren't you? Yep.
Although I'm kind of fed up with that song. I've had enough of it. It was in the show for so many years and a huge success, because he sings, because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. So you get all the kids to build a roof with their hands over their head. Happiness is the truth. So you make them do the truth. What is the truth? I used to do it by slapping my hands in front of me. Give me the facts. Mm-hmm. Happiness is for you, they had to point. And then happiness, if that's what you want to do. So I used to do the twist. So we had these four actions that they could do, TPR with happy. And it worked really, really well as well.
Wonderful. Oh, goodness me. Well, I'll have to try and come along to one of your shows when you're playing next.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, well, I'm in Sardinia. So today is Wednesday the 29th. Tomorrow I'm in Oristano, and on Friday I'm in Cagliari. So
wonderful.
Come along.
Enjoy Sardinia. Lovely place. Oh gosh.
Thank you, Jen.
More food. Thinking you can see where my priorities lie. Yours are in songs. Mine are kind of like, oh, he's going to Sicily. Food. And
yes.
all of the ricotta filled cakes, and then now he's going to Sardinia. Oh, okay. So that's sort of the way my brain works.
Yeah. So if anybody is listening from Cagliari, if you're around on Thursday night, you'll find me in one of those fish restaurants in the old town.
Oh, lucky you. I was going to say, if schools are interested in having you, where can they find out information?
It's all on the website, www.tuneintoenglish.com. And on the homepage, the very first link or the second link is to the roadshow.
Okay.
And that's available at all levels, really. So, yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because I would love to come to your school, teacher.
You can anywhere. I think it's also something really, really motivating for learners. I mean, when I first moved to Naples, my neighbor, the guy who lived across me on the same floor, his English was wonderful. And I said, how did you learn to speak like that? And he said, from Prince songs.
Wow. Okay.
And I was just like, are you serious? And he literally knew Prince off by heart. And he somehow then reincorporated that into his learning and language.
Fantastic. He had some X-rated phrases as well then.
He had a few. Yes, he had. He did indeed. But
actually,
he's now a lawyer living in Dublin.
Dublin. Oh, fantastic. And he's working in the Irish legal system.
Yep.
That's great.
His English is superb. So, yeah, there you go.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention there, because, as I said, some X-rated phrases there from Prince. Some songs contain some language that you might not want your students to. You might not want to be focusing on them with your students, but this is real English. Let's keep it out of the classroom, perhaps. But there is no need to not encourage them to understand what these X-rated phrases mean in their own time, in their favorite songs by whoever it is. But, it is real English, and it's what people use, as long as students are made aware that it is socially unacceptable. I mean, all students in their own language, when they're in their own group, their own gang, they will be using these unacceptable words, but they know they cannot use it with teachers, with parents, and so on. So it's a similar thing, I think, with the unacceptable language in songs.
I think so. And I think as a mother, I know that my son listens to all kind of horrible rap music. I can only say, do you have to? Or, you can't stop them from accessing it, and they will access it in their free time.
Yes.
We are naturally curious. But if we're also learning a bit from it, then,
Yes, this is the thing. What is our aim as teachers? It's to teach them the language, of course, to make them aware that some language is unacceptable, but we need them around those unacceptable words. There are proper phrases, grammatical use, there is valuable material in there as well.
Definitely.
So the roadshow as well. Just to mention how kids respond to the roadshow. I was in Sicily last week, as I say, and I was warned beforehand that the kids maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't respond. They did. They responded very, very well. And afterwards, a couple of them came up to me to thank me, to say, "Oh, thank you so much. Can we take a selfie with you? That was really great." and when I get that, it's far more satisfying than the teacher saying, "Oh, the students really enjoyed that," which is wonderful as well. But if the student actually comes up and says it to me, it's wonderful. So
it's made your day.
That's it.
Wonderful work, Fergal.
Thank you.
I wish you the very best of luck, and enjoy your fish meal tomorrow. Not jealous at all.
I'll send you a selfie, Jane.
Oh, do that. Yeah, that will make me feel even better, Fergal. All right, my dear. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the show, and hope to see you back on the show again soon.
Well, thank you very, very much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I think what you're doing is great. I've listened to a few of your shows and will continue to do so. Well done, Jane. Thank
you, Fergal. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.
You've been listening to Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live and listen back at ttradio.org. We look forward to hearing from you next time on Teachers Talk Radio.